Utepsinut, Hinasinut, ET. How you doing, brothers and sisters, listeners, haters, appreciators, if that's a word? I hope you're doing well. I haven't shared it. I typed it in the box, but there it is. You have the invite link for those who want to call in. If you have any questions, feel free. I was wondering something. Over the years, I have shared different artifacts of ancient people, known people. Amenhotep III, Akhenaten, Ramesu II, or Rameses II, Userma Atra Setepedra, Ramesu Meri Amun, and countless of others. But when it comes to the Abrahamic believers, how many records have they shown for their patriarchs? During their lifetime, would show me something that's like 400 years after the fact. During the lifetime of these individuals, how many have they shown? And then some people have the nerve to use derogatory terms. But I'm going to try to refrain from repeating these derogatory terms because I don't want to sound like I am obsessed with some particular individuals. At the end of the day, some are speaking louder than others are thinking. But it seems like, as usual, people resort to Abrahamic history. According to the Bible, we had that person and his sons were such and such, and that's where we get these tribe and these population and so on. But that's theology. That's not history. Remember that besides the fact that their belief is not established historically, for many people, it's their livelihood. That's how they get their bread. That's how they eat. Therefore, it's not just an issue of someone not believing in their stories, in their tales, or as some would say, fictional stories and fairy tales. It's a matter of when you speak the real, when you speak the truth, and for those who want to say that truth is relative, that I greatly disagree with. Because like I've said before, if you can't swim, I can't swim, then we both bound to drown. When I say truth, I mean facts, something factual. So when you talk about some history that can be substantiated, that is backed up, the more you do that, and the more likely some people will be to realize that there is nothing or nothing much to back what we've been taught. Since it's their livelihood. In a sense, it's business. And sometimes people are ready to go at great length in order to preserve their bia. Stephen Bishop wrote, like archaeological evidence. Indeed. Where is the archaeological evidence for all those patriarchs, for those events, great events? I was thinking about the tale of the Exodus before Moshe or Moses was about to bounce with Aaron, Joshua, and them, with his team, with his partners, We have a tale where the Most High say, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. Now, Stephen Bishop wrote, yo, check out the global warming scam. It's all about the money. I don't think it's a scam, but at the end of the day, it's a very technical field. And if you are not the scientist, you will ultimately have some so-called scientists or real scientists, qualified or certified scientists, that will use some jargon that we cannot grasp in order to allege that there is no such thing as global warming. I think it is a real issue. And that issue ultimately, in the long run, could affect non-melanated people the most. Because skin cancer is no joke. However, it is still impacting the whole world. But I guess in 5 to 10 years, people will have a different opinion about the global warming. One of the reasons people are trying to deny that is because some efforts need to be made in order to reduce the global warming. And in terms of energy, America is one of the greatest, the biggest consumer. I don't know if it's the correct word, but the efforts that need to be made, you have the issue of oil. You have an issue of a lot of manufacturing, mass production. The system as it is, the system is working. They're getting paid this way. And if we want to alter that system for health reason, for the sake of humanity, some people are all about business. It's similar to the food. It could be better, but they are making money, enough money, so they'll keep it this way. And ultimately, when it will come to the point where the consumers will no longer be healthy enough to eat some particular food that is not so healthy, then they might try to make it healthier so people can continue to eat it. Now, Stephen Bishop wrote, yes, I do know the scientists. The planet has been cooling down for over 20 years also. The guy who invented global warming also invented global cooling. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about global cooling, but I think I'm very surprised that the figures that are shown are wrong or false. But there's no need to trip. I think within 5 years alone, we'll see. Besides, in those areas where it's very cold, we have iceberg basically melting. And is this because of global cooling? Why are the icebergs melting? Alex Little, how you doing, sister? And Stephen Bishop wrote, yes, they are. They keep changing the numbers. Okay, we'll see in 5 to 10 years. We'll see in 5 to 10 years where more of the iceberg and different areas where you have a lot of ice, when it will melt and the water level will rise and more places will be flooded. We'll see. So Stephen Bishop wrote, because of volcanic activity. All right. I don't buy it, but everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And besides, when it's winter time, indeed it is cold. And sometimes it is so cold that some people are inclined to say, well, I don't know what's up with this global warming, because If there was global warming, then it wouldn't be that cold. It will be less as time goes by. But when it's summertime, as a matter of fact, in September in France, they have said it's the hottest September ever recorded. I don't think it's because of volcano activity, but it's not a life and death matter immediately. But some people are suffering because of this global warming, and the people who suffer the most are the people in the so-called third world country, developing country, or impoverished countries. They are the ones who suffer the most. And a lot of money is being spent to help those countries with their industrial growth. Because if they grow, if they follow an industrial path similar to the West, a global warming is like, and the pollution as well. There's the warming and the pollution as well. We're just gonna go. There's I think there's tens of thousands of people who die every year because of the pollution alone. But yes. Okay, so Stephen Bishop says that he wrote several messages. He wrote, according to them, we should already be underwater. It is because of with the sun, we have no effect on the climate. If you're saying, however, Stephen shares my opinion regarding pollution. Now, if it's because of the sun, I know there's something about solar flares. I think that's how they call it. I don't see how a solar flare, if that's how it's called, I don't see how it would affect the weather over a month. I can picture it affecting the weather over a day or two, maybe a week, but over a whole month, I doubt it. So besides solar flare, should we consider that the sun will somehow, some way produce more heat at some point and less heat at some other points during the same season? I don't know. I guess what we would need to do is to contact the people. I don't know if it's the geologist, but contact the people who specialize in that field and ask them, is there any such thing as global warming? And then we get the survey or the percentage of the people who consider that there is such thing as global warming and the people who don't. It would be good, it would be interesting to have a survey from the specialists, you see, because the analogy will be with the flat earthers, people who believe that the earth is flat. I have not made the survey, but I'm pretty confident, I'm pretty sure that if we go to the specialists around the world and we ask them, is the earth flat or is it roundish? Is it round? Is it a globe? I'm pretty confident that the majority of the scientists in the world will say that the earth is a globe, that it is roundish, that it is not flat. However, if we just listen to everybody in them, many people will say that they believe the earth is flat. Stephen Bishop said, I've already done this. What have you already done? You already asked the specialists? America doesn't have any interest financially to reduce the CO2 levels. Lose money. They will lose a lot of money. But besides that, keep the comments going and the questions as well if you do, because like it says, Q&A, question and answers plus free talk, so we can talk about everything. I have a bit of time on my hand right now. I was thinking about this tale of the Exodus, where the Most High says that he's going to harden Pharaoh's heart. For the record, Stephen, how many scientists did you ask? And I presume they are all Americans, right? Because for this particular matter, I think it will be useful to have scientists from different places, different locations, different continents, or different countries, let's say. But if they are in America, that wouldn't surprise me. It's a bit like, I think that some people are aware of that. If they come up with a toothpaste or a toothbrush, you will have the advertisement, you will have the picture of a doctor with a nice smile, and you will have a text that many times they make it like it's handwritten. It's computer, it's done with a computer, but you have these kind of fonts. Sometimes it's not pretending to be handwritten, but basically the text say, "Oh, this toothpaste is great. It preserves the blah 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 blah," and then there's a signature of the doctor, of the dentist, and they can do the same for medicine as well. Well, what some people don't know is that text is not written by this doctor or scientist or dentist or whatever specialist they use for their advertisement. They just pay that person so that the name can be used, because of course you will have the signature, you will have the name of the doctor, and then his specialty. So I wouldn't be surprised if some scientists in doubt will be offered money, and they will say things like, "It's not conclusive yet. We cannot come to that conclusion." Anything that implies that we are not certain about the global warming. But anyway, well, Stephen Bishop wrote, "Eliminate fossil fuels, you will lose a lot of people." How will you use a lot of people if we use fossil fuel? Now, fossil fuel, I think that's charcoal, right? I don't know what the others are, but basically things that are heated and ultimately, and the main one is charcoal, isn't it? The main fossil fuel, isn't it charcoal? Let me know. So the Most High, Stephen Bishop wrote that the planet has been much warmer. I really doubt that. I really doubt that. It's been getting warmer over the years. Now, for example, please share something with us that says that the planet has been much warmer. Now, if it's the time of the dinosaurs, I'm not really dealing with these kind of dates, but I would like to know from when. Which institution says that the planet has been much warmer? And brothers and sisters, feel free to ask your questions about anything. It doesn't have to be about what we are talking about right now. But in the meantime, back to this Exodus story. The story of the place, you see, it's amazing how you read some stories and you believe in them because you are brought up in a family that believes in those things, and it seems kind of somehow natural or normal. But over time, when you have a different perspective, you wonder, how come I believed in that? Because we have the Most High who's supposed to look out for his people. And there's so many ways his people could have been helped or saved. And you wonder why 400 years. Like, I'll wait 400 years and then I will holler at you. So there's so many ways it could have been done with. But the Most High decides to come with some plays. And I think there were 10 plays, right? So I don't remember them all. But there was obscurity. There was these insects. The Nile turning red, bloody. And the final one, if I'm not mistaken, is the firstborn of every family dying. Except the Hebrews, of course, because they had to put that sign so the Lord or the angel of the Lord will recognize and know, okay, not to hit that place. Don't know if they call it angel of death. I can't remember in details. But broadly, that's the story. So you have 10 plagues, and people can correct me if I'm wrong. After each plague, Pharaoh is like, okay, you take your people and you go. But then he changes his mind. Is that how it goes? Let's read it. Hotep Dutch, how you doing? That's our brother from the Netherlands. Then we have our brother Kafre Amos. How you doing, brother Hotep? Sen E.T. It's Nefer to see you, Heru, today. Heru stands for day as well. So, Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact and Research. Okay, is there any link? These are climate change. Change is nothing we can do about it. You know what? Hold on. NASA, that's America. Now, I'm going to share NASA, and I will actually show how I went over it, just so that everybody can do the same thing. Okay. So, and after that, we'll move to the Exodus story. Okay. So, okay, search engine, Earth temperature over time. That's what I've typed. Go down. NASA. Climate.nasa.gov. You know, all these years, I never knew really what NASA stands for. So let me look at it just for the record. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Okay. So here, I'm sorry. You just go down, you just scroll down, and there you have it there. You have that chart here. And this is the years from 1880, 1900, 1920, 1940, 1960, 1980, 2000, 2020. And this is a global land ocean temperature index. So from what I can see, it kept going up. And here, this is what do you call it? Time series from 1884 to 2019 until last year. And that's the temperature difference. So it starts at 1884, and as we scroll down, needless to say that the more towards the red it is, then the hotter it is, and the more towards the blue it shows, then the colder it is. If somebody wants to dispute that, then they can be my guest. So we go from 1884 to 1920. I'm sorry, 2019. You see that? Oh my goodness. Towards the top, it went so much towards the red that it almost turns brown. So everybody's free to come up with something else. That was NASA. And as a matter of fact, I'm trying to link in the chat. NASA temperature link. Okay, I will put page. Everybody can just go and see that. Oh yes, Sister Alex Little, thank you for that. Brothers and sisters, please put some thumbs up. We only have 4 thumbs up, which is a very bad look. It's a very bad look. It's a very, 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 very bad look. Now, our brother Caffrey said, the Most High as in a deity is a concept from the minds of humans. Men create deities. Deities don't create men. Hotep wrote, Walter Williams says the name Kemet is from the Coptic age of ancient Egypt. It is not the original name of the land. Well, let's deal with this. Let's deal with this. Let's deal with this. Now, first, I will use Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, brother, what I'm preparing the sources, the references. Did he say that? Was it in writing, or did he actually say? Is that in a book or in an article, or is it something that he said during one of the interviews? I'm quite amazed that he said that. I mean, with some of the things that he says that don't really make much sense. I don't mean to disrespect the brother, but really, there's a lot of things that he says are just not on point. So Hotep answered in the video, but refers to his book. Now, Stephen Bishop, I don't really understand your question, but it's from 1884 to 2019. So I don't know if it was a question or just a statement he made. So, okay. Yes, it's open. So now we're going to deal with Abu Simbel. What the? Okay. So Abu Simbel. Okay. Now, how is it showing actually? Let me see. So Abu Simbel, Encyclopedia Britannica 2012. And you can find the same on Wikipedia, but I'm trying to use it as less as possible even though you will have some accurate information, it's a good starter if you want to have an idea about something. But unfortunately, too many people rely solely on Wikipedia. And for those who don't know, Wikipedia, the articles can be edited. When it's an article about an important figure or important event, there will be more moderation, more surveillance, more monitoring. But people can change many articles, most articles, and sometimes people can come on an article right after someone just went and changed it because of political or religious or whatever reason. But anyway, let's not be long-winded. Abu Simbel cites of the two temples built by the Egyptian king Ramesses II, reigned 1279 to 1213 BCE. So that's 3,200 years ago. Okay, so we established a date. It was built by Ramesu II. Now, Coptic language. So I just want to date an Afro-Asiatic language. That's a language family that was spoken in Egypt from about the 2nd century CE. Okay, so as for Coptic, that's the 2nd century CE. All right. So now that we have established that, if, as Walter Williams says, the name Kemet is from the Coptic age, we have a huge problem. And let me show you why. I will show you why in a few seconds. Let me share my screen. All right. Now, on the screen is yours truly, your brother, Sen Ek Shaka Ndugu Kemet, myself. That's me in Abu Simbel in 2012. What's up, brother? Hotep Dutch, how you doing? In Abu Simbel in 2012. Thank you. Thank you for that. He has muted his mic. So this is me in Abu Simbel in Kemet or Nubia. Abu Simbel is like around Nubia. Anyway, that's me in Abu Simbel. And here I am pointing towards Kemet. I am pointing towards Kemet, written on the actual temple. So the word Kemet is written in the temple built around 1200 BC, 1200 BC. We've seen the date for Ramesses II. How is it possible?
The word Coptic, okay? I don't want to go out too deep on that. I might have just misquoted that from my own ignorance, but he did say that the word Kemet is not original from the land. I have the video queued up. I put it in the link. I have the video queued up of exactly when he says it, but I don't know if you want to do it yourself, or maybe.
Okay, share the link, brother. Share the link, brother. Share the link. Now, let me remove this. Now, Alex Little has a question. She's asking, isn't Coptic after Demotic? And well, she wrote Herodic, Hariatic, and Hariatic is H-I-E R-A-T-I-C. I wrote
I
it
just
there.
want I just wanted to show my face for a little bit, but I'm gonna turn the camera back off. So you just said, because I saw your
All right,
last video where
appreciate
you
that,
said,
brother. Oh no, no, that's later on, brother. Don't worry about that. That's later on, later on as it grows,
yeah, I
like
just
eventually when we have more people and more people, yeah. But that's a good look, brother. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So to answer your sister, sorry, to answer your question, sister, Senet E, my sister, Coptic comes after. Coptic comes after. Okay. You have the hieratic, and then you have the demotic. And I'm going to double check. I'm not saying something inaccurate. Um, yes, indeed. You have the hieratic and then the demotic. And you know what? I'm just sharing this as well, just so that people can have an idea. Okay, no, let me not share it. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I don't want to share too much. So, Coptic, for those who don't know, it's the latest stage of the Medu Netcher. And now, one thing is important to understand. I will share, it'll be easier. I will share, it'll be easier. Okay, so now on the screen, brothers and sisters, we have, this is the classical Medu Netcher or hieroglyphic. Okay, you have the source there. It's a PhD. It's an Egyptologist, and he's the one. I mention him many times because I use his book mainly. His book is very well made, very convenient, and you have the sign list. And but anyway, he was also mentioned in the Oxford History of Ancient Egypt. I've addressed that before, but anyway, this is the classical Medu Netcher. This is the and this is a script. We're talking about the script, not the language. Okay, like for example, you have the Arabic script, and someone can write bint, meaning daughter, or girl. Somebody can write it with Arabic letters. Okay, and or someone can write it with the Roman script that we use in English and French and many other languages, Spanish and so on. You see, so here we're dealing with scripts. The language is the same. So that's a classical, that's a Medu Netcher. This is the hieratic, and as everybody can see, the hieratic is an abbreviated form of the Medu Netcher script. The language is the same. If you look at this here, there, the crocodile skin question mark, that Egyptologists put a question mark. Diop said it's a piece of charcoal, but never mind what it actually shows. The next one, for example, is an owl. There is an owl. It stands for the sound M. The crocodile skin question mark / piece of charcoal, that's the biliteral or biconsonant. It stands for K and M. So this here is the loaf of bread, which stands for the sound T. So you have Kem et. This stands for K and M. Alone by itself stands for Kem. The owl is what we call a phonetic complement. This happens many often with the Medu Netcher. The grammar is very detailed in the Medu Netcher. So you don't need to pronounce that again. You don't say Kem et. No, you just say Kem et. This is an ideogram. It's called Newton Medu Netcher, and it denotes a place, a country or city, which is lacking in the Medu Stela. And besides in the Medu Stela, where the claim it says Israel, is talking about people. But never mind. So here is there. The owl, the hieratic form of the owl, is that symbol that looks like a 3 that actually looks like an aleph. As a matter of fact, it's probably where the aleph is coming from. You see? It's interesting because this was not staged. Let me show you something, brothers and sisters. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Now, I'm going to share something else. Now, can you see it? Yes. So that's the website. Okay, that's the website that you have in the middle of the screen. AFROSTYLY.com. I will share the link with you, but if you scroll to the bottom of the page, it says Medu Netcher, origin of the Greek and Latin alphabet. I'm going to share it in the chat. Origin of the Greek and Latin alphabet. That's it. It's in the chat. That's where it leads you to. Now, this chart over 2 pages is taken from Anthony Brother's book called Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization. One of the few books that I recommend today. I used to recommend a bit more nowadays. Now, the second chart, it comes from Walter Williams' book, the historical origin of Christianity, that I do not recommend for people to read. I'm sorry. I'm not saying don't buy it. I'm saying I don't recommend that people buy it. But if you want to read it, I mean, buy it. It's not the point. I don't recommend people to read it. You know, it's buying it or not is not the issue. If people want to read it, if people want to buy it, suit yourself. You know. So the Aleph. Okay, it's different here. Because I'm about the Semitic symbol. Well, I've just let's say I've wasted time, but you can see the different letters, how they go from the Kemetic to the Semitic to the Phoenician to the Greek to the Roman. Okay. So now let me go back to where I was previously. Let's do a screen share. There it is. Great. Okay. So this sign is the Aleph sign. Okay. And okay, I could show it. Never mind. I'll leave it there. It's the shape is like the Aleph, but we're talking about the letter M. So that's why sometimes I don't want to go into too many details. Let's move from the hieratic to the demotic. The demotic is obviously a more abbreviated form of the hieratic. So just in case I made a mistake, I'm repeating myself. The demotic is an even more abbreviated form of the hieratic, but it's the same language. Okay. And then finally, we have the Coptic. You see? So I will leave it there because I was a bit long-winded. And then we will move to the link that our brother shared. So M from the legs, I don't really understand, but the owl stands for M. The owl itself is the sound M. Alexito wrote, thank you for your clarifications. I thought so too. Pardon misspelling. I think I'm 10 seconds behind. Okay, no problem about the spelling. I mean, it's those are not things that we are taught, that nobody told us about these things. It's not easy at first, just like any other language that you learn, you know. So now let's deal with the link. Okay, that's great because the brother gave me the timestamp. So we're going to into it. Share my screen.
Yeah, it has no video, it's just audio.
Okay. So that was 1927. Let's all listen to it. I'm going to put my volume up. Oh, by the way, let me share the link so people can listen to it if they want to. Now, Sister Alexito, you wrote the owl's legs. Don't focus on the leg. The whole, or maybe I'm misunderstanding what your statement, but the owl itself, not just the leg. The owl itself stands for M. Maybe hold on. Okay, I guess shape wise you kind of see a M. That's maybe what you were trying to say, but the whole of the R stands for the sound M. And I would not make a correlation with the R and the letter M. If I just want to see Anthony Brother's chart, but I don't think we go from the R to the M. No. On Anthony Brother's chart, we go from the ripple of water, which stands for the sound N. So now back to Walter Williams. That was minute 19:27. So Walter Williams interview. Go to minute 19:27. In the link. There you go. It's shared. And keep the questions coming. I will deal with the questions once I finish with that. So minute 19.
You won't ever know that.
What was it? 19 what? 19:27. So we're at minute 19:17. So that should be good enough. Let's listen up.
Okay? You won't ever know. So you have to have a literate people writing about the continent of Africa, giving it its original African name, coming from them. And then you can take that, these Africans who are literate writing, you can take the name that they give to the continent of Africa, spell it. But in the meantime, you can't say that spelling. Now, I have made a suggestion to the African community. Since they want to use the word Kemet, they said that if you look up Kemet, they said the word Kemet means the land of the black or the black land. I said, since this name Africa was taken from a European's name, okay, Africanus, then why don't you, if you want to change that name to a African identity, then call the whole entire continent of Africa Kemet. And then, because the word Kemet is supposed to mean the land of the black or the black land. So Africa is the land of the black or the black land. That you cannot deny. So that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, that's a brilliant idea. That's the first time I heard you.
Okay, I will go just a bit before that time stamp because maybe he was talking more about Kemet. Now, I don't know how the quality was, the sound quality was, but Walter Williams said that he suggested to the black community to use the name Kemet for Africa, which I would not agree with because Kemet denotes a particular country, you see. But let me just go just a bit earlier than 19 something. I will put it at 1804. Let's see what it says.
What they have done in these various religions to bring it to the fourth.
Okay.
After this psychotic general that conquered northern Africa, Carthage, and so then they named it Africa. Is that true?
Well, no, that's it. You mixing Roman history with human history. You can't do that. That's a rumor. You heard that. But if you check it out, that won't stand up. The only literate people on planet Earth, as I mentioned before, are our African ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, because they had and created the first alphabet. So therefore, if they did not write something about the name of the continent of Africa, you won't ever know that. Okay? You won't ever know. So you have to have a literate people writing about the continent of Africa, giving it.
Okay. Maybe Brother Hotep Dutch, maybe it was another part. He did not talk about Coptic. He was not really about the word Kemet. As a matter of fact, in that audio, he was not even denying the name Kemet. He was making a suggestion to use the word Kemet as a name for Africa. However, I know that in the past I've heard him more than once say that we shouldn't use the term Kemet, that we should use Egypt, because when we look on the map, it says Egypt. But it's strange though, because yes, go ahead, brother, go ahead.
That's actually what the interviewer asked him. Is actually what you said, that the word Kemet means black, and it came from the Greek language. So yeah, maybe that was the wrong timestamp. But what I always understood is that the Kemet came from the land. The Nile itself had black sand, so that's what the black came from, and had nothing to do with skin color. So that's why it was called the land of the black. That's what I understood. But he's saying that the name black was because the Greeks came and saw black people, and they call it the land of the black. That's what Walter Will said. I don't know if he's right, but I always understood what I explained before.
Now, the Greeks did not come up with the name Kemet. It was the Remech and Kemet, the people of Kemet. Now, people are not sure. People have different proposition or interpretation about the origin or the meaning, the translation of Kemet. Now, as I've shown, we have Kem, Et, the T denotes the feminine. Now, and we have the ideogram for the place. So someone might translate it as the black one, feminine form, which is something you don't often have in English, because the objects are neutral in English, but in French and other languages, in Arabic, and a few other languages, objects have a gender. A car is feminine, a truck is masculine, a pen is masculine. Well, at least in French. I'm not saying that's the case in Arabic. So that being said, some people might say it means the black. Some people indeed say the black land. Some people say the land of the blacks. Most people who say that it means the black land, usually they are European. Some are Egyptologists, and they say indeed that it's from the name, the soil that is black. Now most African-centered people, or black people, would tend to say that it means the land of the black. Regardless, what is for sure is that Kem is the root word for black in Medu Netcher. And as I have shown, and I can show it again, just to give an example, so people know that I'm not making stuff up as I go along. Or as a matter of fact, I might have it on one of my slides. So I will share it from my slides. It should be quicker than scrolling through the video. Let me look for it. Maybe I did not write it. Okay, let me look for it. Just one moment. Shouldn't be too long. Shouldn't be too long. No, that's before. It's not there. Not there. There it is. And now let me share this. I will also share the video because I have the link on the slide. So
I just found where the interviewer asks him, wasn't the original?
Great. That's great. We will listen to that as well then. So just one moment, brother, please. Okay, so hopefully yes. Here, the source is the book called Middle Egyptian, An Introduction to the Language and Culture of Hieroglyphs by James P. Allen. He's a PhD, he's an Egyptologist. It's page 5. And here we have Henanit the Black. Now, what you see at the top, that's the biliteral or biconsonant. That glyph, which shows a plant, it stands for hen. That's the sound hen. But on the actual reproduction of whatever artifact they have reproduced, here we have hen. The ripple of water stands for N, and this time we have 2. So that's hen and ni. The reed stands for the sound E, and this is the same loaf of bread used for the word kemet, which stands for T. So it literally spells henenit kem, and you see kem is translated those 2 words here. That's 2 words, henenit and kem. It's translated here, and I've highlighted it. Henanit the Black. Henanit is the given name or the name, and the black. Henanit Kem means Henanit the Black. So this is a PhD, not me, who has translated Kem as black. You see?
What does Henanit mean?
I don't know, but that's the name. That's the name. But I cannot tell you what it means. I really don't know. I really don't know. But there's other names for which, and I will show you. Other names that for which we can make up the meaning, and one example is this one. Now, most people say Hathor, but it's actually Hut-Her or Hut-Heru. Some people say Het-Heru as well. And this is the glyph for Hathor, which is made up of the Hut glyph, which stands domain or temple, and the falcon, which stands for Her or Heru. So the combination of the 2 gives us this one, which is Hut Heru, that can be translated as the domain of Horus or the temple of Horus. And when I say Horus, sorry, you can understand Heru. So please, brother, give us the send me the link so you can listen to Walter Williams. And brothers and sisters, keep the questions coming. I will go through the chat afterwards.
No, actually, I looked at the timestamp, and it was what you just played was at 18. But the interviewer asked him, wasn't the original name of the land Ethiopia or something similar to? And then when the what was it called? Hold on, let me see. It was 1838.
1838. Well, I already played it then, because I went a bit further before 1920.
Yes.
However, if just in case people did not hear, because I will have to listen again to this live stream. I don't know how. Could you hear when I was playing? Could you hear what was said?
It's not the best quality, but I could hear.
That's what I suspected. Walter Williams said that the first literate people on planet Earth were the people from Kemet. So if they didn't come up with a name for the continent, then we will never find it. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's mainly what he said. And indeed, this causes some, I don't want to say useless discussion, but people want to come up with a name for the continent. And that's why many people say Al-Kebulon. Many people say, oh, no, it's not Africa. Africa comes from Scipio Africanus. The original name is Al-Kebulon, but Al-Kebulon comes from Arabic. At the time when we had the Medu Netcher, Arabic was not even in existence. That did not exist. Yes, go ahead, brother.
The concept of a continent is just, I think it's recent, to consider something a continent or to even give it a name. I don't think they had that in mind. They just called their area that they ruled, they gave it a name. Because it didn't extend way down to South Africa, I'm sure. It was mostly along the Nile River, right? Or
most likely. Now, some people say that one pharaoh had sent some people all the way to the Americas, but that's what they say. I don't know where they get that from. The problem is that so many people say things, but when we ask them where they get that from, And many people don't ask them where they get that from. But what you said, I agree with.
Yeah, I
It's
heard you
possible.
talking yesterday
Okay.
with I think brother Afro
Afro-Asiatic.
Asiatic, and you were discussing which land, if Africa was in the Arabic lands, and I think I'm just thinking the people of that time didn't have the concept of land as we do, as just borders. The land they lived in is where they traveled. You know, so if the head of the tribe traveled to Arabia for maybe 2 centuries, they stayed there, and then they moved back to Africa. That's where their land was. So it wasn't more like, so it could have been two places at the same time. And I find it hard to believe that people didn't move at that time, for whatever reason. Not if the food ran out in some area, they would temporarily move to the east and then come back, but they would still consider that whole thing the land. Not the continents or these borders that we use now. So
It's true. It's possible. It's possible that they did not have a name for not only the continent of Africa, but maybe all of the continents. And at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world if we don't have an ancient name for the continent of Africa. But the issue probably lies further than the continent of Africa. It lies with the term African. So a lot of Moorish people or Asiatic people, Afro-Asiatic, Asiatic black men, let's say, they like to say, no, we're not Africans. Africa was named after a white name, even though Asia might have been named after a white man. But what's for sure is that we have and I think it's from the family of Scipio Africanus. But and let me show you, because it's sometimes people say I can show you better than I can tell you. I'm sorry. Yes, I can show you. So, Asiaticus. Oh, for real? No entry? Um, Hold on. Let me put Africanus. You have the elder and the younger. Let me do a search. Up
I
there.
heard of Leo Africanus. That's what I heard.
Yes. But Leo Africanus is the Islamic scholar. I think he comes after.
Oh.
But Scipio Africanus the younger is like 185 BC. The elder is 200 BC. So, and Leo Africanus is AD, like 15th century. So, that's much later. Leo Africanus. He was a traveler. Well, I don't have the Asiaticus handy, but I know I've seen it somewhere. But anyway,
The reason I was looking at Walter Williams is because somebody said that he was looking at the similarities between Jesus and Horus, and I was looking into that, and actually I used to believe there was, but then I saw some other websites, and they were saying that there are not many similarities at all. They're trying to make a lot of similarities. So, I'm kind of proving myself, or I have to take down my belief, because I used to think that was true. Jesus came out from Horus, but it's more differences than similarities. I don't know if you agree.
well, it is true indeed that many people repeat the same thing over and share the same memes or caption pictures, images that say, well, Jesus had 12 disciples, Horus had 12 disciples, Jesus was born on December 25th, Horus was born on December 25th, and so on. But a lot of those things like that, those lists of similarities, are not backed up when it comes to Heru or Horus.
Mhm.
And I'll have to plug my laptop, otherwise the battery is gonna die on me. Um, Shame, because that thing makes a bit of noise. But And this is an advice to all my brothers and sisters. Whenever you hear people making a correlation between Heru and Yeshua, or Horus and Jesus, then ask them for the text. When it comes to um, to Heru, to Horus, and that's a problem, that many times people just repeat stuff and it is not backed up, it is not substantiated. You see?
But I did find some similarities in another angle because when it comes to, I don't know if you heard of the Ptolemies, which were,
Yes.
yeah, because the the first the first one created the god Serapis, which was an imitation of Osiris, basically, right? And they made him, like Caucasian, a Greek, I guess. And then um, the fifth Ptolemy became, he made a Eucharist, which basically which is where the communion tradition comes from, where you give the blood. I sacrifice my blood. He determined himself a god, and then he married Cleopatra, and Cleopatra was her wife. And then the guy Osiris is married to Isis, and then the story of the ancient Egypt, Osiris is married to Isis, and he bore Horus. So there is a similarity in some angle where Mary is Isis, and and he bore Jesus or Horus. So I did see that similarity. I don't know if you know.
Well, there might be some similarities, but a lot of time I hear people say that it was Ptolemy, I think the fifth, but one of the Ptolemy that is responsible for the entity that we know as Jesus. I don't think Walter Williams has provided much references. I'm not sure if there was footnotes for those claims, but Oserapis, I think it will be a mix between Osir or Osiris and Apis. There's an Apis bull. But just to answer the sister's question, and greetings to brother Afro-Asiatic who's joined us in the chat. Our sister wrote, I know the owl represents seeing 360 in addition to wisdom. Okay, that's an interpretation. Now, Alexito wrote, I just don't get how we learned to ascribe sound to hieroglyphs without ancient Egyptian teaching sound. And that's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
And this is the main thing that Walter Williams used in order to claim that the Medu Netcher has not been deciphered. Now, I've made a video called Proof of the Decipherment of Hieroglyphs. And I'm trying to explain that to our people. I will have to share. Let me do some. Let me share the screen. Now,
Alex Layla, I just found out about Walter Williams, so I gotta go on that journey now, if it's worth it.
Now, you see, brothers and sisters, you can listen to anyone, but ask them what is their source, what is their record. See, try to ask that question if you can. If you can't, then it is what it is. But be cautious of what people say. Sometimes people make mistakes. I made mistakes before, and I surely will make mistakes in the future. But sometimes people don't want to make amendments for their mistakes. But never mind. So this is a book called The Keys of Egypt. Okay, who's the author? Leslie and Roy Atkins. Is it showing there? Hold on. Oh yes, it is showing. Yes, okay. So is it going to work if I do it like this? Yes, it does. So it says there Now, I don't have the page number, but it says there, on the Rosetta Stone, the name Ptolemy occurs 3 times in a short cartouche, but 3 times in the longer cartouche where it is associated with the king's special titles. Young was therefore able to identify fairly accurately how the name Ptolemy was formed, even though the original scribe had omitted an essential sign from one of the 6 cartouches. Now, people need to understand that the Rosetta Stone was written in 3 scripts and 2 languages. Now, the 3 scripts are the Medu Netcher script, classical Medu Netcher, the Demotic, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it was a hieratic. Oh, hold on, what was it? Oh, let me check. Let's be accurate. Let's be accurate. Let's be accurate. I'm going to check Encyclopedia Britannica. Actually, maybe it was hieratic. Who knows? But it was one of the 2, either hieratic or Demotic. So I'm going to put Rosetta Stone. Demotic, it was. It was Demotic indeed. So my first guess was right, but it's always good to try to be accurate. So it was written in the classical Medu Netcher that I've shown earlier. For those who came in later, you can have a look. And the Demotic and the Greek. So the same text was written in 3. My screen is not shared anymore. The same text was written in 3 scripts. Okay. Oh, I don't know why it's not sharing anymore. Let me do that. Now, here you have the breakdown of the name. And Young, by the way, is one guy who used to work on the decipherment of the Medu Netcher. Let me remove this. Because many people, unfortunately, think that Champollion woke up one morning and boom, genius, I deciphered it. No, people have been working on that language for a long time. Champollion knew the Coptic language. I don't know how well he knew it, but he studied it, you see. So someone before him called Young had also worked on the Medu Netcher, and I'm sure many other people have worked on the Medu Netcher. It's a bit like, you know, this light, what's the guy, Edison? Is it Edison? There's a name, I don't know the name of that person, but some people say that it was a black man who actually came up with the ways to come up with the lightning or the light bulb. But I'm not going to dwell into that. I digress. So people have been working on that language, and Coptic is the latest phase or latest stage of the Medu Netcher, you see. And one example that I gave before, the word sen, which means brother in Coptic, is son, you see. So it's very close. Doesn't sound exactly the same, but it's very close, you see. So, and we say sen because we're not sure, according to the standard of Egyptology, we're not sure about the vowels. So the convention is for us to add a E, the letter E, in between the consonants. Hence why we say sen. But in some cases, we know about the vowel sound. For example, the name of Ramesses is actually Ramesu. We see that in the glyph. We have the sound su in the glyph, and the people who take the classes have shown that to them, you see. So you have the cartouche, which is here, there, with the glyphs, and people have been working on the language, and they knew that inside of a cartouche, that is called a chenu in Medu Netcher, inside of a cartouche, you have a king's name, you see. So since they had the text in Greek along the Medu Netcher and the Demotic, inside of the cartouche, they have the name in Greek. So that's the way they were able to work out, okay, well, this sign must stand for that letter in Greek. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So there, you have the glyphs and you have the phonetic values. And this is another book here, the Rosetta Stone in hieroglyphics and Greek with translation, there you have the name Ptolemy highlighted. You see? And let me check if I have the whole thing from the video. Because there's also oh yes, there is coming actually. Yes, so next one here, it says, by comparing the hieroglyphs for the name Cleopatra on the Banquis obelisk, it's another artifact. It's not the Rosetta Stone. With the hieroglyph for the name Ptolemy on the obelisk and on the Rosetta Stone, Champollion was encouraged that most of the signs that should be common to both names, the hieroglyphs for P, O, and L, were in the right place to spell these names alphabetically as Ptolemy and Cleopatra. He deducted that the values of the individual signs were, and you have the breakdown for each sign and their phonetic values. So here you have the name Alexander written in Medu Netcher. Now look at the date, brothers and sisters. It's very important. This is from the Louvre Museum, Paris, France. This is the description. Okay. And this is the artifact. You see? That's the original artifact. This is the description. Now pay attention, brothers and sisters. It says the name, and I'll translate it for you. Obviously, it's French. But pay attention to what's happening now. The name of the King Alexander in hieroglyphs around 330 BC, made of basalt. I'm not going to read the whole description because that says it all. What is the date for Champollion? Champollion is just about 19th century. It's like, yes, born in 1790 and he died in 1832. So that's 19th century. Now this here, that's like 400 earlier. 400 earlier. I don't know why it's not sharing anymore. Let me do this. And let me share. Let me share this. Okay. So, oh no, hold on. What is it doing now? Manually. I'll do it manually. I'm sorry, I was not prepared to share that. So please bear with me, okay? Which one is it? That's the one, presentation. Now, people who think that Medu Netcher has not been deciphered, that we don't know about the sounds, they just need to explain how come 400 years before Champollion, the name Cleopatra was written in hieroglyphics and the letters do match. Champollion was not even born. Once again, this is I've shown you the artifact already, but those are the signs. And for those who take the classes, they can recognize it. You see the sound for R, the K sound, the S sound, the E sound, the N, the D, the R, the S. It spells Alexander. Now these signs come later on. Initially, there was no such thing as the letter L, but later on they added it because remember the Greeks came in and took over. So I will stop there because I don't want to be too long with this. But people need to explain how come the name Alexander was written in hieroglyphics 400 years before Champollion, because people are too focused on Champollion.
So quick question, Shaka. From the image, it looks like it was written from the back to the front, from the right to left.
Now, actually, the Medu Netcher can be written or read from left to right, from right to left, and top to bottom.
Mm.
And you know how to read by looking at where the signs are facing. Okay. So if you see an animal facing towards the right, then you read from right to left. If you see an animal facing towards the left, an animal or a human, if it's facing towards the left, then you read from left to right. If there is no human or animal or deity, you'll have to know the glyphs and know the direction. If you just there's well, actually, if it's the loaf of bread, you won't know. You won't know, but you never have the loaf of bread by itself. You always have other glyphs, because if you have the loaf of bread that I've shown, you don't know if it's you should read from left to right or right to left. But if you have other glyphs, then you will know the direction of reading.
Okay. Okay. Well, brother, I have to go. So
All right.
hold tap to you. I gotta go pick up my little girl. So,
Oh, okay, it's beautiful, beautiful.
yeah, she's at
All
school.
right, brother. But thank you very much for calling. It's a good look, brother.
Yeah, man. You too, man. Thanks for the live stream and the
No
knowledge,
problem.
the gems.
No problem. Take care, brother.
Hold tap.
Hotel. All right, so let me scroll through the chat. Um, just reading the messages in the chat. That's all. There are a fair bit, so I'm trying to catch up. What? Young Pharaoh broke down how cartouche means grocery bag. Cartouche is maybe he was making a joke. Maybe he was being funny, but cartouche is a French word that literally means cartridge, like a bullet cartridge. And they might have called it like that because they figured it has the same shape as a bullet. But the original name is Shen, and Shenu, and you just have the name of a king inside of a cartouche. So okay, well, if you have so many questions, then feel free, Sister Alex Lito, feel free. Now Alex Lito wrote there were no vowels. Now it's not that there were no vowels. It's just that according to the standard of Egyptology, many times we don't know the vowels. And you see, one thing is that it's also an argument as to why people claim that the Medu Netcher has not been deciphered. Little do they know that with the Arabic, when it's written, the classical Arabic, initially it was written without the vowels. Later on, they came with the vowel system. I think they came with the vowel system, and I mean appearing in writing. I think it's because the spread of Islam, and I say I think, I might be wrong. I think it's because of the spread of Islam. They will reach other areas where Arabic is not their language. So to make it easy for them, they came up with these marks. So when you have a line at the top, you know that will be the sound. Like let's say the book Kitab in Arabic, it will be written KTB. The Arabs know it's Kitab because they speak the language. So in order for the people to know it's Kitab, they will put that line. Now there are names for the lines. There's one is Fatah, one is Kasra. I think Fatah is the one at the top and Kasra is the one at the bottom. But they'll put the line in the bottom underneath the K, so you know it's key. When it's at the bottom, it's the E sound. And on top of the T, they will put the line, so you know it's I'm sorry, Ta. You see, and then finally you have the B. So in the writing form, it's KTB. You see, but they know because they speak the language that it is Kitab. So it's not that there are no vowels. Once again, the name that we call Rameses in English, I'm sorry, it's Ramesu. We have the sound U. And I think there's other cases where we have some sounds, but that's the only one that I have in my mind right now. When I say sound, I mean a vowel. Now, Afro-Asiatic wrote cartouche is expanded Shenu, womb of a woman. That's an interpretation. Now, Alex Little is asking, what layer was Rosetta Stone of original piece? I think you're trying to ask where it comes from. It was a decree. It was a decree. I think it's something to do with taxation. I mean, I could go on the article. Well, okay, let's deal with that. Let's deal with that. I always been more interested in the actual writing, but let's read what it says here. So, okay, so this is, of course, once again, Encyclopedia Britannica 2012. Rosetta Stone, ancient Egyptian stone bearing inscriptions in several languages and scripts. Their decipherment led to the understanding of hieroglyphic writing. An irregularly shaped stone of black granite, 3 feet 9 inches long and 2 feet 4.5 inches wide, and broken in antiquity. It was found near the town of Rosetta, or Rashid. It's from Rashid that we have the name Rosetta, about 35 miles northeast of Alexandria. It was discovered by a Frenchman named Bouchard or Boussard in August 1799. See, they're not even sure about the guy's name. Some people might argue that guy who they say found the Rosetta Stone, he never existed because we don't even know what his name was. Some people might argue that. Nevertheless, after the French surrender of Egypt in 1801, it passed into British hands and is now in the British Museum in London. The inscriptions, apparently composed by the priests of Memphis, summarize benefactions conferred by Ptolemy V Epiphanes and were written in the 9th year of his reign in commemoration of his ascension to the throne, inscribed in 2 languages, Egyptian and Greek, and 3 writing systems: hieroglyphics, Demotic script, a cursive form of Egyptian hieroglyphics, and the Greek alphabet. It provided a key to the translation of Egyptian hieroglyphic writing. The decipherment was largely the work of Thomas Young of England and Jean-François Champollion of France. So I will leave it there because it's going to talk about Young and Champollion. But you see how Young was left off? Thomas Young, all the focus is on Champollion as if he was the greatest genius in the world. And one of the arguments that I hear many times, well, the Europeans could not decipher it. Come on now. A language is not bound to ethnicity. And also, I read someone who said, well, to know the Medu Netcher, you have to be initiated into the secret knowledge and so on. I'm like, okay, all right, suit yourself. If you feel it's like that, okay. Okay, all right, okay. Afroasiatic is saying that L and R are interchangeable, very important when examining Ra, and L or La, Aha in Kemet, transitioning to the Levant or vice versa. You see, this is a Western Muhammad thing. Who he says that Ra is that Allah is Ra is the same thing. Basically, he knows that Allah is not so old, and I'm talking about attested in writing or in history. So they're trying to expand the lifespan of Islam. But no, Ra and Allah, that's not the same thing at all, you know. But anyway. So Alex Little said that she will clarify her comment and find the video and timestamp and email it. She don't want to misquote anyone. It's okay, it's all good. Now, Afro-Asiatic wrote the Egyptian Shenu / Shen ring is Mesopotamian ring and rod womb of the mother of all black women. Okay, says who, brother? Says who? Because we have to be very careful with making interpretations. We have to be very careful about that. For you to say that the Egyptian Shenu is the Mesopotamian ring, I don't know where you get that from. Do they have the name of a ruler inside of the Mesopotamian ring? Is the Mesopotamian ring pronounced Shen or something similar? Shin, Shan, Shun? What is the correlation between the two, besides their shape being more or less similar, which is a phenomenon that happened with so many writing systems. So, brothers and sisters, pay attention. Take advantage. Pay attention. Take advantage. Feel free to call in and ask your questions. And if you don't have any more questions, and if nobody calls, then I'll call it a day. We've been live streaming for an hour and 34 minutes. So, take advantage. Any more questions? Anybody want to participate or add anything? But for those who don't know, I have to say, I'm giving Medu Netcher classes. I introduce people to the Medu Netcher. I can teach the grammar, some vocabulary, so you can actually understand. Don't think that the way I went earlier by sharing slides is the way it is during the classes, because I was going through many different slides. Some of the slides I don't even show during the classes because I've made video about them already. So don't don't even trip, don't even worry. That's not the way it is during the classes. I have them in order. Everything is gravy and everything is smooth. For the record, you have 2 testimonials. It's on my main channel. And underneath the main video, you will have the playlist that says Medu Netcher class testimonials. So you can hear testimonial from a brother and from a sister. And it will make it easier for you to have an idea of how people felt after taking a couple of classes. Actually, the brother's testimonial was after the first class, and the sister was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 classes. And understand that it's a language. It's not. Sometimes people say, I don't speak Chinese. It's not like it was Chinese. Chinese is a language also. If you want to learn a language, you can learn it. You can learn it. So, well, it looks like it's slow, so I guess we'll call it a day then. Thank you very much for calling in, brothers and sisters. It was nice to talk to the family. And whenever you have questions, always feel free. If you have questions, feel free to write them down. So whenever you catch me live, you can ask them. If there's something you disagree with, feel free to say so. If it's something you agree with them, so feel free to say so. It's good to hear compliments or people agreeing with you as well. But you have to deal with the opposite views as well. It helps sharpen you, and it helps you knowing about other things and the way other people think, why they think like that. Where do they get that from, and so on. But if you have not seen the video Kemet and Ma'ad, then I recommend that you watch it. Okay, and you can also have a look at White Semite's Black Awakening and the Deception of Asiatic Black Men. Now, that being said, brothers and sisters, stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to by the Netcheru, then I will definitely holler back at you. Hotel.